This is this one.
Okay, so.
Does it go to this side? Usually it's located on this side.
Oh, is it?
Do I need to mute? Do mute?
Okay, okay, so. Taking it out. Okay, so take off the video. And.
Okay.
And then let's check our participants. See if there's anyone else.
John, isn't he a panelist?
Yes. Can we have folks say a few words? We'll see if Melissa can hear.
So I see a few folks on, we're trying to settle our technical setup here. So Melissa or Haley, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Thank you.
So, okay, so we need to.
Same here on my end. I can hear you.
Hey, you can hear us, but
We can't hear them.
you're
Okay.
coming through, but
Okay.
we're
So-
hearing very faintly.
So, okay, let's check the audio here. Put it on, yeah, and then check do the other one. Same, no, same one. And that one.
Can you talk again so we can hear you?
This is Melissa. Can you hear me?
That was a lot better.
Okay, good.
Attendance, board members.
Are we ready?
Sorry, yes, we're
Okay,
ready.
everybody online, welcome. In the audience, welcome. We're just finishing our technical setup for the meeting. So we'll start today's September 8th meeting of the Flathead Reservation Water Management Board. And we'll start with an opening prayer. If I have a volunteer for an opening prayer. Georgia, please, thank you.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day and this opportunity to serve, and we ask for wisdom as we approach today's agenda, that we may serve well. In your name we pray. Amen.
All right, thank you, Georgia. So now attendance, so thank you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Board members present, Roger Noble,
Okay.
Kenneth Pitt,
Here.
Georgia Smith,
Here,
Clayton Matt,
Here.
Teresa Wall McDonald, Amy Kaufman, here.
Okay, thank you. We have a quorum. So regular announcement, all meetings and minutes are on the DNRC and CSKT website for anybody who wants to track any of the previous meetings. So we have an agenda, and unless there are any additions, questions, or changes by board members for the agenda, we'd like to entertain a motion to adopt the agenda when you're ready.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ken to adopt the agenda.
second.
Second by Roger and Georgia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right. And I know Teresa wasn't on, but when and if she comes on, please let us know. Thank you. Any public comments for items not on the agenda? So we have our usual, we're gonna have to get you a name tag or uniform. So we have our usual attendance in the audience. Any comments today, sir? Okay. Okay, so anybody online, and is there anyone who has a comment for us today?
So our taxes If anyone is online who wants to speak, please raise your hand and we'll change the audio settings for you.
Do we have a few online?
We just have one person on.
Okay,
So raise your hand if you are online and would like to speak.
hearing none, so we'll move on. We'll have another chance for public comment here later in the agenda, I believe. So with that, we want to look at the August 25th and September 1 minutes for approval. So I believe those are in your packets. Starting with the August 25th minutes. When you're ready, want to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 25th minutes as provided.
Motion by Roger,
I'll second.
second by Georgia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those minutes approved. So the second set of minutes are September 1 set of minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the September 1st.
Motion by Georgia to approve September 1 minutes. Second by Ken. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Minutes approved. Water engineer position update discussion. So what we have is based on our last meeting as an offer went out, and I do not have a response yet. So as soon as we have a response, we can bring that back to the table. My question at this point then is, does the board want, I think we did not give a specific deadline for a response. I think just honoring that for now. If the board wishes to entertain a deadline for a response, we can do that, but I just wanted to lay that out, and if you choose not to, that's fine.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should have a reasonable deadline.
Okay,
I think we need to move on with keeping this position in place.
okay. Want to pick one
And look,
or suggest one?
that's, yeah. Mr. Chairman, I suggest September 14th.
Okay, is that open for discussion then?
Okay, continue.
Yes.
And before 2 p.m.
Okay, so that's your suggestion. Until you make it a motion, it's open for discussion. So anybody have any comments, other thoughts, suggestions?
I agree with the date. Good time.
Okay,
I agree as well. There's
Okay.
just a lot of things that we can't move on till that position's filled. So
okay, all right, well, that's the suggestion. We can take that as consensus, and I can reach out, or unless you want a motion on that, that's up to you. Consensus is fine. All
Consensus is good.
right. Do that. Thank you very much. Human Resources Committee. So we need a spokesperson for that. Who is that today?
Chairman, members of the committee, for the water conservation specialist position, for that's the position where the board asked associated employers to take the lead on getting that search started. And so Amy Saylor from Associated Employers can give you all an update on where we are with that.
Okay, thank you, Amy.
And the lead's on the call.
Welcome, Amy.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Thank you.
So the update should be pretty quick and easy here. We have 32 applicants in total. 17 are from Indeed and 15 are from LinkedIn. And from my knowledge, we don't have any that have come through the email, the contact email. As applications have been coming in, I've been sending a thank you for applying and just letting the candidates know that we have indeed received their resume and that they will be contacted for further screening in the future. There's no date with that or anything. I do have a few questions, but I think that might be for the committee on the side. Things about timeline, if we're going to have a main contact on this, and then what the phone screening process might look like as well. And then the last piece, we have hit the budget for the Indeed posting. So I moved it to just a free posting and it's been doing well with that. We're still getting a few applicants each day.
So with those questions in mind, the committee, would you like to address those with her or take the time to address those with her? I don't know if you need to do it today, but or would you like the board to deal with them?
I'm on that committee. I think it'd be appropriate for us as a committee to deal with those questions. And then if there's anything beyond that, we can bring it to the full board.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
So do you remember who's on the committee?
Well, it was myself and Payla and Ken. And then I think we had been able to get Teresa involved at the end. So.
Okay. Will that work? Any other comments? Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Okay, hiring committee participation, DNRC, Payla Hoyt.
Yes, I just wanted to follow up on that and I wanted to confirm, does the board want the same group of people from the board to vet this for this position, or do you want to switch things up at all?
Committee members can speak up.
I'm happy to stay in.
Yeah. So we'll keep them the same unless they decide they do not want to be involved and you need additional help, and we'll go from there. Just let me know. Okay.
And then the other piece that the technical team talked about was should we just continue to make progress on vetting these applicants and then bring the water engineer on board as soon as that person is available to start work, to be involved in the process as soon as they're able, or should we pause things and let the water engineer move forward with this process when they are on board? And then we talked a little bit about this as well. My recommendation would be that we make the progress we can, because we really do have a mountain of work to do, and it takes a while to hire folks, so if we can make any progress with bringing the engineer on as soon as they're able, they would still get a chance, most likely, to play a role in the position as long as they came on soon.
Yeah, for the board and committee, I'd like to see us make as much progress as we can. And then if we can, at some point, time it so that the engineer can participate in that process, that would be ideal. But I think short of an ideal time frame, I think we need to continue to move on. So yes, I see heads shaking. Yes, Georgia, Roger, Ken. Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Kayla, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Thank you. Personnel policy update. Kayla Hoyt.
Back again. Chairman, members of the board. So associated employers, the HR firm, they prepared a very comprehensive draft policy, and the HR committee has had 2 meetings with Amy Saylor about that. Right now, I'm making edits to that policy so that it applies to the board in its role as a governmental entity, so it's written more for a private sector employee. And I'm basing those changes based on recommendations from Melissa for tribal policy, and then also what we have at the state. And I'm adding in some of the requirements that will need to be in place for, since the board is subject to right to know and right to participation requirements. This won't take the place of the legal firm's work that they're doing on preparing a memo on how the board can meet those, but I'm just making sure that there's not conflicting things for what I know about. So then the committee is going to meet on Friday, and then once we're done, maybe as soon as Friday, if we can send it off to the law firm for their review, if that's the order in which you'd like this to proceed.
So who else is working on that with you?
That is Georgia and Ken and Melissa and Amy Saylor.
Okay,
And then
for,
Teresa has provided some comments, but hasn't been able to attend our committee meetings.
that process sounds good. At the time it goes to the legal firm, does the board want to see the draft? So would you make, I see heads nodding, so if we could, when it's time to send it to the legal firm, not for approval, but just for us to also get our eyes on it, would you also make sure the board members get it too?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
Would would you like me to hold off on sending it to the legal firm?
No, I think at the time you send it, let's just make sure we also get a copy. Please, thank you. Any other comments on that? Ken, Roger, Georgia?
No.
Is Teresa online yet? No? Thanks, Kayla. Benefits review update. Christy Brooks. It's okay, and Christy, you're a very soft-spoken person, which I appreciate. But we'll need to make sure that everybody can hear, so please, thank you.
So on the benefits, I work for the tribal personnel department, managing and being the administrator of benefits. And so currently I'm working on preparing benefit packages for employees that will be employed here. Right now I work with Greg Wilson, who was recommended in last board meeting. In regards to the benefits that they offer, I've also looked into some other options that we might have in preparation to making a package for employees, and then I'll have it reviewed. We do have the committee that will be meeting, where I'll present the packages that I have prepared, and the meeting on the 12th and 13th. We need to schedule a time. Right now, I have Georgia, Clayton, and Roger. We don't have a time between the 3 of you that works for all 3, and so would like an agreed upon time amongst the 3 of you.
And I think I responded anytime during those days would work. I think Roger had some specific times. Was there someone else, Georgia? Did you see those dates?
I did. I sent you the dates that I'm available, so.
And they, those dates don't overlap.
Right.
And
They
so-
don't overlap with Roger's, I mean, so at this point, because I'm available. Just
Yeah, so Roger's,
Okay.
dates, he's available, and Georgia's don't
Okay.
overlap, and so we was,
All right, all right.
you
So,
all set a time or some guidance from you on, who of the 2 should be there if you decide to set a time and they both can't be there.
so unless you have specific dates and times at the moment, maybe Roger and Georgia, you could compare notes and get something to Christy and Taylor, so we can go from there.
Yeah, I haven't seen George's response yet, so maybe I can reschedule something.
I'm sure we'll find something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, do you have Georgia's response? You just haven't looked at it or you haven't received it?
I hadn't received it as.
You want to get Roger George's response and then we'll go from there. All right. We're good. Is that it, Christie?
Right now, that is all I plan on bringing to the board. Recommendations for benefit packages as well as, some other options. I plan on meeting with Greg Wilson on Friday to go over the benefit plans that they provide. And, not sure if that's the route that we'll be taking, but once we meet on the committee, and then we'll decide and get kind of a clear view of what route we want to take as far as plans go.
Great, thank you. All right, is that it, Christie?
That's all.
All right, thank you, Christie.
You're welcome.
Okay, Office of Engineer Operations, back to Christie.
Right now in the office, currently me, I've had some working from Anna, however, she'll be out of the office and availability next week. I've also had some other staff from PRC that have came up and worked with me, as well as reviewing some of the applications and things that I need to do. There's been a lot of phone calls, which has been kind of extreme the last couple days. Not very many incoming applicants though, recently, as well as not receiving as many in the mail as we normally have recently.
So just out of curiosity, are the phone calls extreme because there's a lot of them, or are they extreme because of the nature of the calls?
There's a lot of them.
Well,
And, I'm making phone calls asking for more information on applications. So a lot of it is like return phone calls and then people from the general public asking questions.
good, thank you.
You're welcome. And that's all I have.
Okay. Funding agreement approval, Melissa, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, earlier this week, I sent to the board a draft of the funding agreement, as well as the proposed budget for the next 10 months. If you'll recall, the funding agreement is only from September 1st through June 30th of 2023, which coincides with the state's available funding from the last legislative session appropriations. And so it represents equal contribution from the state and the tribes of $250,000 each, plus some carryover funds from the initial allocation that was done in May. The DNRC has included and will request additional funding for the next biennium from the legislature. And so we will be looking to do probably a 2-year funding agreement starting July 1st of 2023, once those appropriations are done by the legislature. So this funding agreement is much like the last one, in that it's an interim funding agreement only for 10 months to get us through the current state fiscal year. The agreement is exactly the same as the one that we did in May. There aren't any changes other than the dollar amounts.
And dates.
And dates, yes, correct.
And so if we approve today, this will be good for 10 months.
Correct.
Okay. And the additional 250 each from the state and the tribe is new money going in, or will be future money?
It's new money from the state and the tribes, representing what has been appropriated by the legislature and the tribes for this interim period.
So board members, if you've had a chance to take a look at that, do you have any questions? I think it's important we get this approved. I think it's going to run out at the end of the month. So Ken, any questions?
No.
Roger? Georgia?
No.
Is Teresa on? No, Teresa? So does our federal rep have any questions or comments?
No, I haven't.
No chance to see, so.
Yeah.
Aside from that, there are no questions or comments. I think, Melissa, you're just looking for approval of this?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. If there are no questions or comments, take a motion to approve. Roger?
I'll make a motion to approve the funding agreement to cover the next 10 months.
Motion by Roger to approve the funding agreement as presented.
I'll second.
Second by Georgia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion approved. Thank you, Melissa.
If I could raise one point, the agenda had you taking public comments.
So I'll take public comment now, I think regardless.
Sorry.
I apologize, I saw that and I just moving too quickly here, my apologies, but if there are any comments, so anybody in the audience have any comments on the funding agreement? Anybody online have any comments on the funding agreement?
No, I'm sorry, there's nobody that isn't attending online right now.
Okay, no comments on the funding agreement, so we will move on. Thank you, Melissa. Domestic allowance applications. Applications recommended for authorization. Ethan.
Chairman, board members, today for your consideration, we have 3 domestic allowance applications that meet all of the terms according to the recommendations of the technical team. There's no questions about any of these applications, as some enjoy with us, but there's a list ahead of you there.
Okay, board member, do you see the list? Practice has been to approve those in mass, so when you're ready.
Chairman, I move that we approve the applications from May, Hanson, and fourth on the technical team's recommendations.
Motion by Ken to approve the 3 applications. Do you want, I need a second?
I'll second.
Second by Georgia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion approved. They are approved. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you, and Lord, remind the board that I do need 2 members to stick behind and sign these applications. Thank you.
Okay. Other board member updates.
Are we, speaking of applications, are we gonna discuss this one that was a hardship application previously?
So you
Give
had
an
a
update.
question on it?
Give
Can
an update on it or something
can we
like
get,
that?
so let's just touch on it. Let's just give an update on that, Ethan. So a question by Roger. Thank you, Roger.
Chairman, board members, last meeting, we talked a little bit about an application where the applicant had drilled their well already before applying. The well was drilled on the 21st of June, which is 20 days past the grace period. At the time, I did not have the application in front of me, but was able to go do some research afterwards and drafted you all an email to that effect. And so the board had, in fact, already kind of considered that particular application and recommended to staff at that time that we just move forward with processing it. And so because staff has been fairly efficient, a letter did go out to the applicant already to resolve other defects with the application. The other defects for the application were relating to the number of buildings that would be hooked up to the well, the actual location and amount of the irrigated lawn and garden, and the map that the applicant had provided was inadequate according to our map standards. And so that letter, I do believe, went out on the 30th of August. In response to the discussion that we had last week, where the board had consensus on a desire to reach out to the application to solicit information about their hardship, I kind of put together a draft letter for the board's consideration. to find out whether or not that letter met, with kind of the idea and intent of what was brought forward the last week. I didn't hear back from anybody so far, so.
Yeah, I don't recall getting your email. Maybe it's my fault.
I don't have it either.
That would have done.
I think it was yesterday. I did get it, but let me just pose a thought here. Let's make sure they get it. But in the meantime, I guess what I hadn't been fully cognizant of at the time was that a defect letter had already gone out. And you do not have a response to that defect letter yet. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so while we're considering whether we continue to move forward with our additional request, we may want to just let them respond to that. If you choose, you want to pursue sending that, we can do that. But since they've not seen your email, let's make sure they see that. And then between now and the next meeting, if you want to let me know your thoughts, then we can try to address it then and decide if you want to move forward. Would that be okay? If there's a desire to do something different and move forward today, then we should discuss it and make that decision.
I'm okay. Yeah. We'll see if they respond to the deficiency letter.
Okay, all right. We will hold off and let them respond to that letter of defect and then go from there with the idea that we may still request additional information, but we'll see.
Excellent, and I will follow up with everybody to make sure that we have the correct working email addresses. Some of you have the Flathead Reservation Water Management Board .org emails. I don't have those for all of you. Maybe that might explain why two of you didn't receive that. If that's an email that you don't check regularly, and if I need to redirect those communications, I'll touch base with everybody to make sure I've got the most contemporary and accurate email. For everybody.
I've never been able to access my Flathead Reservation Water Management.
Okay.
Email, so it's.
That will make it difficult.
So it's a problem, it's my fault, I've got to work out.
Well, let's see if it is. I mean, if there's a technical solution there or technical issue, we should have, I'm not sure who's dealing with our emails, but maybe somebody can take a look at that.
Presumably, if we could get the board on their emails, that probably does make a certain amount of sense to get everybody working off of those official emails, just to unsolicited recommendation.
Jill's offered to look at Mr. Chairman, I can continue that.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Ethan.
Thank you.
Any other board member updates?
Mr. Chairman, this is,
Yes.
for a farmer, this is a very bad time of year for me, so it might not be as available for subcommittee meetings as I normally would for about the next 3 weeks.
Okay, just flag both folks as we move forward, so appreciate that. So not as much of an update, but since we're at this point, Haley, any updates for us or anything you would like the board to hear today? Thank you for attending.
Thank you, Chairman and board members. I don't have any updates currently with regard to the topics on the agenda.
What about, I think we assigned the law firm the task of drafting that release for the logo.
On the logo question, so that came up, so there's a question on that logo question, Haley, and I know that you had sent an option there. I guess I hadn't officially responded yet, except to ask if we were able to get that release letter to the artist, and you were going to make contact with Rob. Do we have any update on that one?
Yep, we have an update with that. I did hear back from Rob the other day. I need to take a look at what he sent over and get back with the board.
Okay. Anything else on that, Roger? Okay. Thank you, Haley. And Haley, I did send you the list of those, and I think items that the board has been taking on applications, this special applications that have been coming through, and I think Ethan had been preparing sort of a running list of those that could potentially become policy. So I think I sent those to you, I think for some future discussion. I just want to make sure you've got those.
I am unsure if I have exactly what you were talking about. I know I would like to connect with Ethan with regard to the ongoing list that he does have, and I know that was something I need to circle back with from the last board meeting on September 1st.
Okay, no problem. I don't think we're pressing to take any action or anything on that today or discussion. Just want to make sure that gets, and I think Ethan, there was a little more update you were going to do to that as well. What you did send, I did try to forward to her, but please, if you guys would talk, that would be helpful.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman, board members, the only additional update that I have to that document this time will be whatever we resolve with this grace period issue. And for the other board members, I did send that also to your same email address. So you were included on that distribution, which you may not have received, but the intent was there.
Okay. Thanks, Ethan. Thank you, Haley. Any other board member updates? So thinking about, before we go on to next steps, final public comments, any public comments in the audience here? Anybody online?
Nobody's online.
Nobody's online, okay. With that, next steps, we've been trying to meet in person, but I gather there's a little bit of a busyness with staff next week. Taylor, did you want to mention that? And then I guess the thought was we may want to go ahead and just do a Zoom meeting next week. Is that right?
Yes, next week, DNRC water rights staff have an all staff meeting for Tuesday, Wednesday, and half of Thursday. So if the board has a in-person meeting on Thursday, I know I didn't make it up here in time, but I don't know about the other ones as well, but we will be on those duties next week.
And having a Zoom meeting would help with that.
Yes.
Okay, so board pleases, we want to have a meeting next week and do it by Zoom. Will that be all right?
Yes.
Yes, Roger?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the health board usually meets on the third Thursday, and I would be the third Thursday, so I'm not sure if we're meeting on the 15th or the 22nd. But,
So the question is your availability, but if we would let Teresa know, Ayla, that we're going to do it next week, and Roger may not be available, so if she's available. If she's not available and we don't have a quorum, just let me know. And Roger, if that changes, please let us know.
yeah, typically those, if we can move them back, then I can be
Back meaning
time wise from 2 o'clock to 3:30.
2 o'clock to 3:30. Would the board be interested in changing the time next Thursday to 3:30?
Sure.
3:30 works for me.
Okay, if that works for you, Roger, then we'll just do that.
Yeah, let me just confirm, or I'll have a text out and I'll find out when the board meeting is.
Okay,
So,
well, we'll tentatively set it at 3:30 regardless. And then we'll let everybody know, let Teresa know. And then Roger, if you can make it great. If not, then we'll just do the best we can. Let's see if we get a quorum.
sounds good.
Thank you. And that's the 15th.
Yeah.
3:30 Zoom meeting. So when there's Zoom meetings, I get the agendas, but what I'll probably do is pop in early that day to actually get a hard copy of that agenda. It's easier for me to work off of a hard copy. I don't have a printer at home, so I'll make sure I do that. So, all right. Anything else from the board? Anything else from staff? Melissa, everything good?
Yes, I'm doing well. I'm hoping to get home on Sunday, so I will
Okay.
be more available next week.
Okay, I see Haley, we've talked to Amy. Rob, you're on. Is there anything you need?
Thank you, Clayton. No, Rob is good.
All right, and Mr. Teets, thank you for joining us, joining our meeting. All right, with that, we'll close this meeting. We'll call this meeting adjourned and see you all next week. All right, thank you. There's a whole three of them
There's only
today.
3 of them. Maybe I can't mess this up.